Hello everybody, a very warm welcome back to the MEC-TEC garage. As you would have just seen, we've got the old Puma back in the garage again. It was performing absolutely sterling service until it wasn't anymore and stopped running. And it's been sitting out there on the front drive for probably the best part of 6 months, I would say, something like that. So it definitely needs sorting out because I need to use the trailer. It's the only thing I've got with a tow bar, and obviously it isn't right, it just sits there not working. The problem I think is fueling. Last time we used it, we picked up the shed, which you've seen the preparation work of in the last video or video before, and that was the last time it was used. On the way home when we was towing the shed back on the trailer, it was popping and banging a little bit as if it was running out of fuel, so it's running lean. I changed the fuel filter on it, which I'll put in a clip of in a minute, or just after this, thinking that it was a clogged fuel filter. That didn't make any difference and it will not start at all now. So we need to do a bit of investigation work into what is going on, why it's not running. I think it's probably going to be something either fuel pickup related in the tank, or the tank's clogged up, or the shock clogged up, or whatever. It's going to be something like that, which means we've got to take the tank out. So we need to do a little bit of investigation. First things first, we need to get a battery back on it again, because I've borrowed the battery off it for the cab at some point. Need to put the battery back on it again, and we want to check for the fuel pump to see if it's actually priming. If the fuel pump's not priming, then obviously we know that there's an issue with the fuel pump itself. If it is priming, we know that there's a problem with a blockage in the pipe, or block pickup, or whatever else, because then it's trying to prime but can't get the fuel through. So it's going to be a bit of investigation work to start with to find the problem, and hopefully we'll get it running again, and we can start using the trailer again, getting rid of all the rubbish and junk that we've accrued since we've been doing the house and everything else. So without further ado, let's crack on, get some work done. Right, with the battery connected, I'm going to put you down on the ground, just down there, and I'm going to switch the ignition on. You should hear the fuel pump prime when I switch the ignition on. Let's see if it comes on. Hang on, stay there. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it, and I'll tell you if it does it or not as well, because I'll be able to hear it. Right, we're getting fuel pump prime. So, but it didn't sound like, it didn't sound right, if that makes sense. So it sounds like it's trying to push through something and it's obviously clogged up. So it's what I thought. Let's just try and start it, make sure it's not going to miraculously start. No. It's definitely getting a fuel pump prime, but it's not starting, and that battery sounds like it needs a charge as well. So, right, next thing I'm going to do then is get the back up in the air. I think we're going to have the tank out and find out what's going on, because something is definitely not right. Right, I've just been standing here thinking about things, and before I go hell for leather on jacking it up and getting the tank out, I'm actually going to do another test. So I'm going to see, I want to take the fuel pipe off and see if we prime it. I think this is the feed, which has got the red bit on. I'm going to squeeze that together, hopefully. Pop that off the side, like that. Now that doesn't look promising, because that looks dry. I'm going to take both of them off, just to be on the safe side. I think this is the return, this one at the top. Make sure the camera's not moved. Pretty sure this one at the top is the return. Okay. Right, let me just get a little container, and I'm going to see whether that primes and anything comes out. If it doesn't come out, we we know for sure it's at the tank end that's the issue. 2 seconds, I'm just trying to find a little tub of some description to drain this into. Don't particularly want fuel all over the engine. Right, that might do it. There we go, right. A massive clear up in the MEC-TEC garage so I could get the Puma in here. I didn't want to get halfway through this and then it all need to be taken apart properly and then not be in the garage. So, right, you're going to see this. In fact, no, I'll see if I can see it. I'll put the window down. I'll see if I can see it at the same time as you do. Right, well, I've just seen that the same as you. There's fuel getting to the front, which means that it's not in the tank at all, in theory. That's interesting. It's getting more every time though, which tells me, that fuel looks really yellow. Was there a blockage which is now there doesn't look like there's anything in the fuel, it looks clear. But it does mean that there's fuel getting to the front, so in theory it should start. So is there a problem with something in the injector rattled in, or is there like a pressure regulator or something that's not working right? Let's reconnect them back up and see if it starts now then. Now I've sort of primed it again. No, not starting. So the plot thickens then. It's something in the engine bay rather than under the back of the car, which I'm quite pleased about because it means I've got to roll around on the floor. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is take this cover off and we'll have a look and see what's under there and see what's fuel related. I may have to look up online and see what's fuel related, what's not, and find out what controls what and what could be going wrong. Right, in trying to fix one problem, I've now created myself a whole new problem. As you would have seen from that bit of time lapse here, I couldn't get that corner bolt undone on the cam cover. So I tapped it a little bit. And sure enough, the mount snapped straight off the side of the inlet manifold. So now I've got to put an inlet manifold on it, which isn't ideal. I have got one on the old engine, because I've got the original engine for this, but it's over there, underneath that lot. Right at the back, because I didn't think I was going to ever need it. So I'm a bit miffed to say the least now, and obviously we're not any closer to finding out why it's not starting. But obviously I can't start it now because there's going to be a massive air leak in the inlet. So yeah, that's put a bit of a spanner in the works, to be honest with you. Right, it is the next day. I got the ump with it yesterday and went in. As you can see today, I've made a path, albeit a very small path, and I can see the engine now. So I'm going to get that inlet manifold off of that engine first of all. That will give me a good idea of what's got to be unbolted from where to get it to obviously come off the engine, and then I'll know exactly what I've got to do on the car itself. So I'm going to buzz through getting this one off and then show you probably a bit more in detail what you've got to do to get the one off the car, because I dare say it's going to be a lot more difficult to do because obviously the front panel of the car's in the way, so and you can't take it off because it's welded in. So yeah, let's crack on and get this one off and then we'll go onto the car. Right, I thought it might be a bit easier just to show you a couple of things off on this engine off the car. These are I think 12 mils. So basically you have to take the front half of the inlet manifold off first. So your dipstick tube needs to come off the front of that. That's 110 mil. Put that on there. That thing becomes loose. I don't particularly want to take that right out, but if we have to, we will. And then you swap over to your 12 mils, which you've got 5 of, 3 bolts and 2 nuts. Let's hope these all come undone all right. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is my original engine out the Puma, which at about 100,000 miles, I had a slight incident with it, whereby I was on the, it was the A13, and I had a Mercedes Sprinter van right up my jacksie, and I didn't like it, so I stuck it in second and floored it, and when I went to go for third, I went into first, and you can imagine what happened to it. It clattered and banged. It still got me home, and I actually rebuilt the head on it, put all new valves in it, because I bent the valves. I think I've been 8 out of 16 valves. So I took the head off, put all new valves in it. After about, I don't know, 6 months, bottom end started knocking. And knowing what I know now, I probably would have just took the sump off and replaced the main bearings and the common rod bearings, because that's probably what was making the noise. But at the time, I didn't have so much knowledge. So I ended up putting a replacement engine in. But I kept this one because it's the original engine that goes with the car. Sad as it sounds, it's matching numbers and all the rest of it. So should I ever want to put it back, I can. So this may be a future project to rebuild this engine, go through it all, and maybe get a bit more performance out of it. I mean, I'm just surmising here, it could be never happen, but you know, as long as I've got it, that's the key, isn't it? Right, so we've got those 5 there. I'm trying to see what else holds this together. We've got one down here, which is bolted on the engine block, which is like another 12. That's next to the alternator. Now I think the alternator may have to come out to get the back half of the manifold off, which is a pain. You've got like a little wing bracket down there, praying none of these snap off. And I think there might be one on the other side as well, possibly. I'm not sure on that one. Yeah, there is. There's one more underneath the throttle body. I've not used many parts off this engine over the years, really, but I've had a couple. Right, there's another one right under here. Hopefully you can see where I am. Right above the starter motor. And that releases the front half of the inlet manifold by the looks of it. That's now come loose, as you can see there. Cannot believe I've done this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a tap through these 3 engine cover threads and put a load of copper grease in them so that if I ever take the cover off again, this won't happen, in theory. Right, the bolt down that corner is a longer one. In theory, that should just come off now. And it does look like I've got the idle control valve missing off of this, which is no great problem. That's the vacuum pipe I've just pulled off of there, which goes to this little solenoid here. Now I'm thinking that might be the issue with our engine on the actual car, which is why it's not starting. So we might have to look into that. You've got a plug there, and you've also got a vacuum pipe here, which is for the goes to the brake servo, and you've got another plug here as well. I'm doing this as I go along, can you tell? There we go. Right, that's the front half of our manifold off. I'm going to have to give it a damn good clean up because it's been sitting over here for ages. There's a gasket, probably be able to reuse that hopefully. Right, okay, I'm assuming these are the same size, 12 mils. Yep, they are. It's really easy when it's off the car, because obviously you've got loads of room around you. Well, I would have loads of room around me if I wasn't stuck in a corner of a garage, surrounded by precious treasures, I'm going to say. Right, so how many you got? You've got one nut on the end. Then this one in here is a bolt. That one there in there is a bolt. And that one in there. Is there one in there? Yeah, there's one in there that's a bolt as well. So you've got 3 bolts in the middle and 2 nuts on the end by the looks of it. I'm assuming they're the same. Actually, they might be a bit small. They look more like 10s. A lot of motorbikes out today. I don't know if you can hear that on the microphone or not. Yeah, so the bolts in the middle are 10s and the 2 nuts on the outside are 12s. Same as the outer part that we've just done basically. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing alright. It's very dark in this corner of the garage because obviously I don't usually work over here. And my torch's battery's just gone flat, that's helpful. Well prepared as ever. I do actually need a torch really. There it is. There it is. I suppose it'll make this a little bit lighter to move around if I haven't got this on it. Right, so this end nut is the only going to be the only tricky one. Because as I say, it's right behind the alternator and I'm praying I can get a spanner in there so I haven't got to take the alternator off the car, because otherwise I've got to faff around trying to get all the belts off and everything else, or belt off I should say. So I'm hoping that I might be able to just sneak a spanner in there. Let's have a go. It's going to be a 12mm. Oh, might be lucky. This is where I crush my fingers. Don't get a spanner extension on that because it's quite tight. Not as good as having a socket on it. I never get this round the right way when I try and do a spanner extension. Oh, it went. That's good. It's going to be a bit slower, obviously, getting this one off because it's going to be bit by bit. Just whack my knuckle as well. That really hurt. Oh, come on. There's always one that's a pain, isn't there? Always one. Ow! That just slipped off. Okay. Hopefully it'll twiddle off with my fingers, which it is. That means it'll come off fairly easily. What's the betting it won't come off this easy on the car? Can't get a grip on both sides of it. That's the only problem. Oh, it just about comes off at the end of that stud with that alternator in the way. Just. That's so close. Right, that should pull off now. Assuming the alternator doesn't stop it. What's stopping it under here? Shouldn't be anything stopping it. I think the alternator's going to have to come off. Unbelievable. Usually this alternator would have 3 bolts in it, but this one's already out, so 2 bolts it is, and that comes off. I'm going to put those 2 bolts back in the holes they just came from. Which, you know, I can't do that. I'll put them with the alternator. Right, now that's off, this should fall off. Now what's stopping it? Oh, there's a hose under here that's attached. There we go, pulled it off of there. Comes off of that port there. There we go, there is our inlet manifold. I've got a gasket there should we need it, but it's only a plastic spacer, there's not actually any proper gasket on it, so I'll just leave that on there for now, I guess. Right, so now we've got to do exactly the same thing on the car. Obviously it's going to be a bit more tricky because the belt is on the alternator. And it's in the car, so rinse and repeat, I'm afraid. Right, there we go, there is the inlet manifold out. Now that was a lot more difficult obviously in the car than what it was being over there on the floor. Now I've managed to just tweak the alternator forward slightly to manage to get that inlet manifold out, so I'm hoping I can just knock it back again and put the bolts back in, and I haven't touched a bit of the belts, which is really, really good. I had a brainwave right towards the end of that time lapse, as you probably would have seen, taking the battery and the battery tray out, which allowed me to get the inlet manifold out that way, because I was thinking to myself, I can't get it out without taking the second part off the engine, so it all comes out as one, but that's not true, you have to just wink it out the side. So obviously you've done that. So now it's just going to be a reverse of what I've just done basically. It's going to be hopefully a little bit easier to do. Now I've got all sort of things a little bit cleaner and whatever else. I'm going to use the gasket off the old engine on the side of the head because it seemed that it's in better condition than the one that was on there. I didn't actually have to change the whole manifold really, I had to change the back half, but as the two halves of the one off the other engine match, I thought, well, I'll put both the new bits on as I'm there, and it's easy. I've got to take one out to get the other out, so there we go. So I'm not going to bore you with, well, I'll just mention a few things I had to take out extra actually. Obviously the battery box and the battery, the air pipe, throttle cable, the plugs you saw me undo on the other one. What else? I think that was about it extra wise. Throttle cable was mentioned, that's laying down there. It's just on like a little ball and socket joint, it's got a little circuit on the end of it. Yeah, don't think there was much else extra. So yeah, let's crack on and get this put back together again, and then we'll be back where we started again. Right, after a little while, we're now at precisely the same point we was at the start of the video. Can't believe I did that. Anyway, right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to prime the fuel pump a couple of times, and there's a Schrader valve on the end. I'll show you just here, get the light in the right place. See, there's a little blue valve just there. There's a Schrader valve under there, and I want to see if I've got pressure if I prime it a couple of times at the end of the rail. If I haven't, then I know this ain't going funny along here. If I have, then maybe we should check for spark next, because I haven't checked for spark, so that could be another thing to check as well. So let's. I'm going to prime the pump, and I'll come back to you when I've got that done, and I'll show you if any fuel comes out. Right, I've primed the fuel pump a few times. Let's get this little Schrader cover off. It's like a tyre valve on your wheels, same sort of thing. And in theory, if I've got pressure there, should get a load of fuel come out of this. Absolutely nothing. So there's something going funny with something at that end of the rail. I think it's something to do with this. It's like a little vacuum solenoid valve type thing there. I'm going to do a little bit of research online and find out what that does. And obviously I've got the one off the other engine. If I need to, I can just swap it over and we'll see if that fixes it. Right, I've done a little bit of looking online, and just as I thought, this little silver dome thing here is your fuel pressure regulator. So I've took the one off the other engine. I've got it, so I might as well try it. I've just realised I put the ratchet down somewhere. There it is. It's 2 7mm bolts you have to undo and pull that vacuum line off, and you have to sort of twist it to break the seal and then winkle it out. It's got 2 O-rings on it, one big, one little. I wonder if this has been our issue all along. Sorry about the bars on the screen. I'm trying not to, while I'm moving around, it's affecting the light. Right, so 2 7mm out. I've got what I did on the other one. I've got a pair of mould grips very gently around it. Sprayed it with loads of WD-40 to give it a bit of lubrication. Hopefully it'll soak in a little bit. Pull that vacuum line off like that. Hopefully this one will come out as easy as the one on the other engine. Well, so yeah, easy. It came out with a little bit of resistance, but if you twist it and pull it at the same time, there you go. So now there's fuel there, which says to me that this isn't letting any fuel through. So let's swap it over. If this has been our problem all along, then I'm going to be happy and sad at the same time, because I might have even been able to get to that without taking that plastic cover off the engine, which means I wouldn't have had to have done all that inlet manifold, but there we go. Here's what it is. I don't know anything about it now, so a little clean around that edge. This has got loads of WD-40 all around it still, so we'll put that in there. And what I'll do, rather than just pushing it in, I'll draw it in with these bolts evenly from both sides. Actually, no, I won't. I'll push it in. I'm going to get a bigger socket so I can push it fairly evenly. Hopefully it won't bind up any of those O-rings. Like that. Here we go. Popped in. That's a better way of doing it. I like that better. Right, if this works, I'll be well happy, because it's been sitting off the road for so long. It's something so simple, I'm going to be both annoyed and pleased at the same time. I wonder. Nip them up, not too mental, because it's only into alley. Right. I'll keep you rolling. I'll stand you over here. Actually, you know what? I'll stand you above the light so you don't get it in your eyeballs. And we'll go for a reprime and see if it starts. Prime it a couple of times. Oh, I'll tell you what I haven't done. Thinking about it, I've unplugged this off the injector, so it's not going to start unless I plug that back in, is it? And I need to plug that hose back in there. Forgot to take them off. Right, that's our 4 injectors plugged back in. Let's plug that pipe back in there so it's not got a big vacuum leak. Go on, there we go, right. Right, now let's go for a start. Oh, it ran. Yes! I haven't plugged that in either. Let's plug that in. That'll help. Vacuum line off. It runs! Absolutely brilliant. Oh, I'm so chuffed. If I'd have known it was going to be that easy, I'd done it a long while ago. Right, there's a few things I've got to sort out there because I put this cover back on again, but oh, I'm so chuffed. That's a relief. That is a big relief. All because of an oil pressure regulator, sorry, a fuel pressure regulator. What I might do is buy another one as a spare. If that one packs up as well, because obviously that one is the original one off the car, so that's as old as the car. Obviously it hasn't been used for a long while. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to last, but it's okay for the minute at least. Absolutely mega, top banana. Right, just like that, by the magic of video editing, we are now in the wilds of Norfolk. And continuing the theme of Ford resurrection, we are going to get the old Fiesta going again. It has passed its 40th birthday, 41 years old now, and because of the way that the tax exemption system works, you effectively have to wait 41 years to become tax and MOT exempt. The Fiesta, I'm proud to say, has now reached that stage, which means it no longer needs an MOT, and I get free road tax, which is absolutely mega. However, this has been sitting here since it was last on the channel and videoed. I think that was about 2 years ago, and has not been touched since. So it is well overdue some love and attention. First thing we're going to do is get a new battery fitted on it, because the battery has now completely gone. It's been on there for about 10 years and it's finally had it, so that needs changing. And we need to spin the engine over by hand, just make sure that nothing has got sort of seized up or stuck or whatever while it's been sitting here, and then we're going to go for a first start. So without further ado, let's go into the bonnet, get that battery changed. Right, so as you can see, there's a little tiny battery on this, little X side, which I've got exactly the same one of again. Is 113mm on the battery clamp on the side here. I'm quite pleased that's come undone, because I didn't think it was going to. It looks pretty rusty, unfortunately. This has had a new battery tray in the long distant past. In fact, this is a nut and bolt, which is why it's undoing. Yeah, it has had a new battery tray when I very first got the car back 20 years ago. In fact, no, it's longer than that. It's nearly 25 years ago. 25 years I've had this car this year. So it has had a new battery tray, but it is starting to show a little bit of rust again, so we may have to sort that out, at least on that bracket anyway. Now it's 13mm, there's a 13mm nut and bolt holding that on. I'm not sure whether that should be a nut and bolt or whether it should have a captive nut on it. I think this end may have a captive nut, but I think the thread may have gone in it. Right, 10mm on the terminals. Now these originally would have been a side pole or square post battery, which Ford came out with in the 80s and 90s. They soon went away from that after that, and you can't buy square post batteries anymore. So it is got these converters on it. I can't get the ratchet in that side because it's too close to the battery the way it's facing, so let's get a spanner and sort that out. 10mm spanner is missing out of this set. What a surprise. 10mm always go missing, don't they? They're the most used. There we go. 10mm ratchet spanner, that'll do. Makes things a bit easier, doesn't it? Right, let's get that off there. That should just lift out. Yep. And you can see a battery tray looking a little bit manky. It's going to need a bit of refurbishment work on that. Right, here's our new battery. It's exactly the same as the old one. She's an X-side. A mank off of there. An X-side EB442 is the number of the battery, should you want to know. That's what I had in it before. Now, one thing is very important with these is you have to take these little bungs out the side. Because I bought this off of Tanar batteries, obviously it's been shipped. They're really, really good Tanar batteries. If you fancy sponsoring me, Tanar, I've got a few cars need batteries. Got to take those plugs out. I think that one, it's only showing that one there. That one I don't think comes out. It's only that red one, just to allow the battery to vent. Obviously where it's in shipping or whatever, they put that in, stop the fluid coming out the inside of it. Pull that off because it looks like a manky sticker. Right, yeah, this battery clamp's definitely seen better days. Do the job though, it's alright. It's funny, when you've not been around a car for a long while like this, it's almost like you get a new car again, because it's not been touched for so long. And I know what you're all thinking, why aren't you doing the Cavalier? Well, this is a lot quicker to do than the Cavalier, so the Cavalier will be a slightly longer process, I think. I'm hoping I can get this out on the road this year and do maybe a few shows in it, which would be nice. Last time I did a car show in this was when my eldest daughter was about 2. She's 11 now, so just shows you where the time goes, eh? Right, that's clamped down again. I'd like that to be ran the other way, really, that clamp. I don't think it can be because of the way the wires are, because I've got these converters on the posts. It has to be ran that way, so we'll have to use the spanner on it again. That's all right. Too mad of it. Right, that's that one done up. Take the little cap off of this. If we can get it off. Screwdriver. There it goes. And back on there. Now nothing, it appears on this, nothing comes to life because obviously, apart from maybe a clock, there's not really anything electrical on it. It's even still got points, this has, so it's proper old school, which is kind of nice in a very mechanical kind of way. Right, there we go, that's our new battery fitted, that's that bit done. Let me grab the right size socket and we'll just turn the engine over by hand just to make sure that nothing's going to get hung up or anything like that. Now, I have no idea what size this is on this crank pulley. We'll have a little go. It's going to be quite a big nut, I think. Oh, it says dropping the socket on the floor. Where'd that go? Piece of wood on the floor. Put it in. I don't think it's going to be the right size, but oh, it is the right size. That's a 19mm. Okay. Oh yeah, it turns over easy. Just go around a couple of revolutions to make sure. Got good compression. Yep, that's turned over right the way around pretty much. I think that's absolutely fine. There's anything wrong with that. Okay, let me get the cover off, we'll get set up and go for a turnover. Right, it's quite close to the DeLorean this, just about getting it. It's like, oh, it's strange sitting in this again. The smells, all the smells and everything come back to you. The old steering lock off. Steering wheel's a bit mouldy under here. Just have to give that a clean. Right. Yeah, manual choke, yeah. Well, we've got dash lights, so that's a good start. It's probably going to take a little while to if it does start, because the petrol's got to pump up because it's mechanical. So I said to you, was it the starter or was it the battery? Sorry? I said to you, was it the starter or the battery? It wasn't that good when I started. Yeah. You need to give it a tap. I think we might need a hammer, yeah. Just going to give the starter a little tap to see if it, it's just clicking at the moment, obviously. Oh, here's the starter on this, I don't know where it is. I think you want one. Try that one first, see what happens. Got to find where the starter is first. It's down there. It might just be the terminals are corroded on it. Let's give the terminals a little wiggle as well. I have had this before with this, and I've had to wiggle the terminals on it. Sure I have. Yeah. Because it's right down the front of the engine bay. It gets all the rubbish off the road, and obviously corrodes it all. Where's the main one? That's the main one, isn't it? Tell you what I might do is just get a 13mm spanner and just loosen it off so I can wiggle it a little bit. Let's try it again now I've wiggled it around to see what happens. Just trying to rock it a bit, see if it goes. It's yeah. Do you reckon it's stuck in the engine if I put it in gear and rocked it?
Yeah, it sounds like it's jammed in the engine to me, but I don't know.
Just in case it's jammed in the engine, we'll give it a little rock like that in gear. We know the engine's not seized because I just turned it over. Yeah, not having it. Right, okay, we'll have to get underneath the front of it and see what's going on with that starter motor, because it's obviously got stuck somehow. Either that or the electrical connections are no good, so we'll come back to you when we've got a bit more info. Right, I'll loosen the wire on the front of the starter, wiggled all the connections around and tightened it back up again even tighter. It seems to have made it work, so I just flicked it and it just about turned it, like just a fraction, so it hasn't really turned over at all. So let's see what happens now. Get the petrol going. Yeah, brilliant. This car's amazing, no matter how long it sits for. Once it gets fuel up there, I mean that starter obviously was a bit of an issue, but hopefully that'll be alright now it's been used a little bit. I reckon it just got a little bit stuck. Mega. Let's grab the camera. Show you the dashboard. I've got a light up choke lever there, look, the choke out. There we go, there's the gear dashboard with the rev counter and all the rest of it, all the other gauges. And it's done 129,308 miles. Absolutely mega. A little bit of a rev, let's put the choke in slightly. There we go. That is the first time it's been started, as I say, since the last video, which I think, I have to double check, I'll put it on the screen, but it's about 2 years ago. So, oh, there you go, it's conked out, pushed the choke in too soon. Right, I'm going to get this started up and we'll try and move it outside so it can sit and run for a while and not fill the garage with fumes. Right, we're at the garage. As you can probably hear, Lucy's holding the camera.
And hiccuping.
Yeah, they might not be able to hear that on my microphone. We're going to go out for a little drive.
Yeah.
This is MEC-TEC's holding the camera, watching us go down the driveway. Car for so long. See all the cobwebs there?
Yeah. Look at that, beautiful.
Passed my driving test in this car, Luce.
Can I do it in mine?
You might be able to, if they still allow you to do it in your own car.
That'd be good.
So, little first ride out in the Fiesta. This is literally as we pulled it out of the garage. I've not, well, obviously I'll give it a quick check over, but it's not really had anything untoward checked over on it, but seems to be running lovely. Just choking a little bit now. We're up to temperature. Right then, the Fiesta has had a well-deserved wash. It has covered about 50 miles since we've been bombing around the lanes here, and we went down to a restaurant last night and all that sort of thing, and it has performed absolutely superbly. Not a single problem, absolutely mega. I had to put a little bit of air in the tyres. Apart from that, it is really, really good. So that is another Ford back on the road. The Puma is now running again, as you would have seen. It's still not quite right, I'm not going to lie. It's got a bit of a not a hesitation, but it holds back in first gear when you really put your foot down hard. Once you get into second and put your foot down, it really flies. So I'm not really sure why that's doing that. If anyone's got any ideas of why that might be doing that, please feel free to stick it in the comment section down below. It would help me out massively, and obviously I'll know what to look for then. Maybe it's starting to get a plugged catalytic converter, maybe it's still fuel related, I don't know, but it just doesn't seem to have that punch off the line when you initially pull away. So there's something still not quite right there, but at least it's running again, and I can actually use it gently at least to go to the dump and things like that in with the trailer. So that is the main thing. So 2 Fords revived in 1 video. Can't say fairer than that. That is a really good result, and obviously hopefully I'll be able to take in this to a few shows this year with any luck as well. So that is absolutely mega. Remember to do 4 things for me: like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. It's all free, it costs you absolutely nothing, and I really do appreciate it. It helps me out massively with the channel. And all left for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and if you want to join me soon for more automotive adventures, I will see you again next time. Cheers guys.